Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Coming at you with the energy of an apology statement. It's the Audience of One show on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5 FM, streaming on irlonestar.com and available wherever you tend to get your podcasts from. On today's show, we discuss when dressing inappropriately goes viral, unfortunate weather situations, and buying love potion online. I am Andrew, maestro of the run sheet, next to the guy who believes the definition of naked is when your privates are showing. It's Dick. I want to live in an old folks' home. Schisler.
What's up?
What's up? I have to say, we sound great in my ears right now. I don't know why, but it is like crystal clear, baby.
Yeah, I've been trying to do a little adjustments.
You've been adjusting, huh?
Yeah.
It's good. I'm glad that you can take a look at yourself in the mirror and say, I need an adjustment. It's good. No, it sounds good in my ears anyways. Let's hope it sounds as good to the onesies. What up, onesies? Glad to be back. Broadcasting.
Yeah.
For you. For the masses.
It is. We're recording on June 19th, which I did not realize was a federal holiday.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it always has been. Am I wrong there?
I don't know. Well, because
it is now, though, and that's all that matters.
Really weird with holidays because we have federal buildings.
Lots, yes.
And we have city buildings, and we have county buildings.
And they're all on different schedules.
And and so, unfortunately, today, the whole building's closed. Mm-hmm. And so it's been interesting, and
we had to sneak in through the back door. No one knows we're here.
I slept here, so
right,
making sure everyone can get in. Just
in that hammock you have in the back room.
Yeah, I wish I used to have a bed at the old studio.
I know, you're hammock guy. Oh yeah, I know. You told me about that.
Yeah.
And then what's great is when we first moved in here, there was a shower, right?
Yeah, and then they got rid of it.
Oh, I know. Dang it. They probably thought you were going to do some nefarious thing with some of the guests. If I had to guess, no.
You always think the worst of me.
Oh, come on, buddy.
Always.
It's just for fun. It's just for fun.
I'm a little creepy.
Just a little. Dick, have you ever thought about the fact that since we're now online and streaming, worldwide, that we could now be somehow affecting like generative AI, ChatGPT, and all some of the dumb things that we're saying could actually be out there and somehow influencing the way these things process information now?
Yeah, but I'm not really into that stuff, so I don't care.
Yeah, but I mean, it's fun to think about that maybe somewhere there's some little machine crawling and it comes across the transcript of this show and we end up in some college student's transcript for MIT or something.
Yeah, go for it, dude. I mean, I can't imagine going to school today.
Yeah, so the reason I say that is there was some kid, I think he was graduating from a larger university, went viral as he picked up his computer and was scrolling through all of the ChatGPT documents that he had created over the years and used to graduate right there. And they're showing him on the big screen. And he's like, yeah, too late now. I guess technically they could still revoke it somehow.
Yeah, education's weird.
Yeah, man. It's for losers. Look at us. It didn't do us any good.
No, I'm self-taught.
Mm-hmm. What did you teach yourself?
How to start a radio station.
They didn't teach you that in school?
No.
I missed that day.
Yeah.
It was actually being taught in my school. I just missed that day.
I think the most useless thing I was taught was the Bible.
Oh, well, it depends on your perspective, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like you were going to theology school. Well, kind of.
I kind of did. So, no, I'm just kidding. It was no, I'm saying what I meant is that those classes were probably the most challenging.
Right. That's what you meant. I get you.
Yeah. Well, oh man, people are wild. That's for sure. Did you have a good weekend?
I believe so. I traveled last week, and I'm going to be traveling next week. It's going to be difficult to get a show in because I'm going like all week. But we'll work out those details. Yeah, it was okay, man. I went to Louisiana, Baton Rouge. Hadn't been there since 2012, and it's a neat little city. Food's decent. Had me some redfish Pontchartrain one night, and good times were had by all.
Yeah, I'm actually
gambled a little bit.
We're going same venue where
Mhm.
you went. We're going in July.
Yeah, there's a couple of boats right there on the river to let you get your gamble on, which is a lot of fun.
We're staying at. I guess we're staying on a boat.
I don't know where you're staying, dude.
What's it called? Barouge or something like that? La Berge?
La Berge.
Is that a boat?
Probably, or if it has a boat attached to it, I think.
That's so funny to me.
I don't know, man.
See, that's the one thing I love about laws.
It's right there on the Great Mississippi.
Because like you got these clever people trying to get around it, and it's like, oh, for some reason in Louisiana you can gamble on the river.
That's right. It's international waters. It's lawlessness on the high seas.
Well, that's
man.
where I was like, that's kind of wild, right? Like, why would?
It's like the laws apply here, but as soon as you go out onto the water, you can double down on 11. It's really strange.
Yeah, I don't really get that.
I don't get it. Water laws are weird. Have you ever thought about the fact that we have different branches of the military, some that cover land, some that cover water? The Marines are on land, yet the word Marine means
no, they're water.
Water.
They're water and land.
Marines?
Yeah.
Well, I know Navy is. Well, they're air and water.
Yeah.
And then we have so then the Navy though is just water and air. But then the Air Force is just air.
Yeah.
But then we also have Coast Guard. They do water as well, but
they do everything.
But just really close to the land.
And then you get the Black Ops.
Mm-hmm.
So
what do? They do
Black Ops things.
I don't know. I don't know that the Marines do water as well. I guess.
And then I'm learning all about ice these days.
Are you now?
Yeah.
I don't know. My point being, we've got a lot of different rules for how far out you are on the water or the land.
Well, it's just funny to me
or the air.
Because I think that's been their law for over 50 years.
What do you mean?
Like
their law?
You have to gamble on the water.
Oh, it's been that way for a long time.
Yeah.
Which is why when you have cruise ships, you can go out there and basically just remove your pants and gamble. They don't care.
But what's weird to me is
you got to go out 200 miles.
But like, if it's been around for that long, they got to the point where like, hey, we don't want to change this because it's like we already have a monopoly on the gambling. Because you think someone would be like, all right, we've been doing this for that long. Well, why don't we just allow gambling in the land? Let's just change that. Stupid, right? And then you got all the boat captains like, no, we got to keep it this way. But yeah, we're going there. I'm going to be gambling too. I hate gambling, but my buddy loves it, so that's always a fun time watching him waste his money.
Hate it when you're right.
What?
Why does the USA have 3 water-based divisions in its military? Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard.
Yeah.
Dang it. I didn't know that.
Well, I have some Marine...
Maybe that's why they're called Marines.
I have Marine friends, so I know all about it.
Mm-hmm.
But But then again, if you join any type of unit, you're gonna be specialized in something.
Sure.
So
sure.
That's always how I would love to hear the different responses of why people join the Army or the Marines. Because I can get joining the Navy because you want to be on a boat or something like that, and to join the Air Force you want to be around planes.
Mm-hmm.
But if you like join the Army, I feel like that's the person who's undecided when they go to college.
You just want to shoot guns, man.
It's like I'm just here to get the benefits and to protect the
country. I like the haircuts.
Yeah, I always wondered that.
I don't know. Dick, you have an animal, so I know that you will probably identify with this. There is nothing better than coming home and having your dog just so excited to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's been like 2 hours, they act like it's been 2 weeks. It doesn't matter. They have no concept of time, right? And it just makes you feel so good. Conversely, though, there is nothing more demoralizing than when you want attention from your dog and you get down and go, come here, little buddy, come here, little buddy. And they just look at you with the most dead eyes and do absolutely nothing. And you just realize your dog is basically giving you the puppy middle finger.
Yeah.
That happened to me the other day.
That's
never happened. They just always run straight up to you.
Well, no, I did the worst thing you could possibly do with a dog is I let her jump on me.
That's not the worst possible thing you could do.
Okay. Well, I meant more of training.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't really jump on anyone else, but when she gets excited, she'll jump. But like now she shoves me. So
out like Elaine from Seinfeld?
No, like a full on, like she'll jump at me, and if I'm not paying attention and planting my feet, she'll like knock me over.
Wow. Is this Freddie?
Yeah, it's Freddie. And Molly too. So they both try to get me.
By the way, you were right about Freddie. She stinks.
She
was a stinky dog, man.
I told you.
And what's weird about it is I didn't notice it when I was around her. Like, I would pet her, I didn't smell her, but then I smelled my hand and went, oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
That is rancid.
Yeah, she gets into... She's a farm dog. So it's very... I almost want to
I
build.
thought about just cutting the hand off after
Well,
that.
I want to build an outdoor shower that I can just.
You got any lava?
Like, get one of those feeding troughs
Mhm.
and then just build a shower out of that, so I can just lock her in there and just get it over with every time she goes outside. Because she digs, she swims, she goes in the lake. She's a farm dog, dude. She just
finds trash dumps. Yeah, something.
She finds animals all the time.
Maybe
and,
she has a glandular issue. That was serious, dude.
yeah, no,
Cute dog.
oh, yeah,
Very
she-
friendly.
Oh yeah, she loves people.
Dick, what is your bedtime routine? Are you a
Sleep.
Okay. Next
Wake up.
story. I used to be one of these guys who would watch television, and over the years, it has slowly, probably like most people, morphed into looking at the phone and social
No, I don't.
media.
I don't really look at the phone just because if I'm tired, it takes too much effort to like hold it up.
You drop it on your face.
Yeah, and I'm just
guilty.
I'm not really into this. And then
But you always power through a few more minutes after that. Oh, it's okay, and then drop it again. Okay.
no, I don't do that.
I
No,
just-
I
gotta go to
watch an episode of like Star Trek or something, and then if I'm reading
Something wholesome.
if I'm reading a book or something, I'll read a book whatever comes across from the library.
Yeah, I've gotten to that habit of doing social media, and I don't think it's a good idea because when you're watching television, you can say, oh, look, there's 15 more minutes in this show. I'll finish the show. But with social media or TikTok, it has no end. And so you don't really have any sort of governor on there telling you when you have reached the end of the internet. It doesn't happen. And so it just keeps freaking producing material. And before you know it, you've been sitting there for 2 hours and it's midnight. You're like, I've just wasted 2 hours of my beautiful REM sleep. So I've got to get out of
speaking of
this
that,
habit.
I had a weird dream this morning.
Oh no, is it radio appropriate?
Yeah, it was weird. Like I was living in Italy in a small village, and I had one of those tiny European cars,
Okay.
and I kept getting it stuck in the little tunnels, or going through the mountains.
Uh-huh.
I just kept getting it stuck, and it was very frustrating because it's that little piece of crap car, and you're trying to
I wish I could analyze this.
yeah. But what was strange was my neighbor were two butch lesbians. And
Okay.
the other neighbor was this actress.
Now it's starting to get
It
interesting.
was this actress that I don't know why she'd be in my dream. I don't
I
really
can tell you why.
watch anything, but it was weird because the butch lesbians were always coming over to my
Gosh, so
house.
harsh sounding.
Well, when I say but, I mean like I'm giving you a visual.
Yes.
And they're not like we're neighbors and
Mhm.
we're cooking. We're always
Mhm.
cooking. We're always hanging out. And it was just a weird dream because what was strange about it, it felt like I was watching a movie of myself.
Oh, wow.
So if that makes sense,
It does. In most dreams, you don't see your face
Yeah.
because you're seeing it through your own eyes. Are you prepared to tell me you could see your face in your dream?
well, like there were instances where the conversation was like in the next room. I was watching the conversation,
It's
but
almost like a lucid
but
dream.
not
Quite, but
as if it was a
close.
movie. It wasn't like me looking over the corner and watching. It was just like
And you probably remember really specific details about that dream that you probably normally wouldn't or don't. But in this one, you knew exactly how butch they were.
well because that was always the ongoing joke in the dream.
She drove a Subaru, right?
Well, no, it was like because I helped them fix stuff, and I'm like, I thought you guys would be good at this. And they
yeah,
always
my
said,
Outback is not running
And-
smoothly at the
yeah.
moment, right? Mm-hmm.
It was a weird dream, and I kept running into that actress girl across the hall.
Actress girl. You just knew she was an actress?
No,
or like she was actually a famous one
Yeah,
in your dream?
Here, I'll show you the girl.
Is she an Italian actress?
No, that's what's that's so weird.
You're going to have to provide more details.
Yeah, here I'll show you.
This actress girl.
Her name is Kirian Shipka.
Sounds American. Sounds salt of the earth Midwestern.
Yeah, see here, I'll show you. This is her.
Oh, quite fetching she is.
Well, no, that was the weird thing. Was we weren't? I wasn't trying to hook up with her or anything.
She definitely balances out the other side of the hall with the other ladies.
And it was just a weird. I was like, why am I in Italy? And like I went to the market in my little car, and like that was probably the one thing I do remember is driving that thing around the mountains in Italy. I was just like, I was just like living a life that it's almost as if my soul was sucked out here and I was transported in this other person's life in Italy. And that's what it felt like because half of it was like watching a movie and the other half was me getting frustrated with the car. and because I get stuck, and I'm like,
man, this
and I didn't know how to turn it, like, because those cars are really hard to turn.
No, I'm not familiar with them.
Well, if you're like trying to like go through, never mind, you haven't been there. Okay.
Right.
But yeah, that was a wild
God,
dream.
This show, man. This show. I feel like the show would be the equivalent of giving a Cheeto to a Victorian child if they've never heard the show before and freak out. What are these two guys talking about?
But that was my dream, and it didn't really go anywhere. It was just me watching a movie, and it was just ridiculous scenarios. And then that was probably the weirdest feeling. Was I didn't feel like I was visiting, like I lived there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, usually when you have that feeling when you're visiting a place, you don't really know. Like, I knew everywhere to go.
All the adult shops.
Like,
you knew exactly where they were.
Where the market was.
Mhm.
It was like I was living someone else's life with their memories, and I was just viewing it.
Where the chicken fights happen. Yep.
Oh man, that'd be great.
Yep. You know.
That would be an awesome dream. But yeah, no, it was a weird.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Thank you. Next time you have a dream like that, please bring it to air. Before we kick off this show, I did want to say I had the pleasure of being on the great Cindy Cochran show prior to recording this episode. So shout out to Cindy Cochran. Everyone listen to her show Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays at 2:00 right here.
Yeah.
On this fine radio station.
We had a fun time this afternoon. Wasn't
It was.
I felt so bad for her being here at 12:00
and just waiting because
Yeah.
the building was closed.
Well, she has that. She's in an awful position with downtown being so busy that the handicap parking is very scarce. And ironically, today's a holiday, so she's like, I took time out of my day to be here.
She basically parked on the curb today. It was great.
Yeah, and she was good because no one was down here.
No.
And she got here 2 hours early because she was afraid of parking.
Poor
But
thing. Awesome, man. Well, let's go ahead and kick off the show. And Dick, again, I have a story specifically for you that involves aviation. A man accused of falsely posing as a flight attendant to reap dozens of free flights has been convicted of wire fraud and fraudulently entering the secure area of an airport. Tyron Alexander, 35, was found guilty by a federal jury after taking 34 free flights that he obtained by pretending to be a flight attendant or a pilot, the U.S. District Attorney in Southern Florida said. This is crazy, man. This guy basically started doing this years ago.
Yeah.
And I think it really ramped up during COVID when there weren't a lot of, they were just trying to get people on planes. He's like, oh, I'll sign up. And they were probably really needing some additional people on board. And I guess, and what's weird is they don't just allow anybody on a flight, especially if you're posing as a flight attendant. You have a number and a badge number and a
wonder
schedule.
what the full story is here.
Well, my thing is, apparently it's not that hard to defraud this system. And I think rather than convicting him, they should probably award him for finding the loophole in the system. Well, because this guy could have done some damage, let's be honest.
Well, what's strange to me about the logistics of this criminal.
A criminal, such a harsh word.
Because usually when you're like, oh, I can fly for free, if he knows how to game the system, like you got to figure out how to get back too.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then,
you could get stuck somewhere.
Yeah, like that makes no sense. So he had 34 flights.
Only 34.
Over the course of how many years?
Beginning in 2015.
Okay. So that's not that bad. So say you want to go see his mom, he just
he said he started working in 2015 on his fake resume, I guess. His first flight was in 2018 and continued until 2024 when the gig was up. So he didn't do it very often, it sounds like. I mean, 34 over 7 years, not too crazy. It's just, maybe he just liked being in the air, man. Or maybe he really liked the peanuts.
Well, what's interesting about the aviation world in the professional sense is it reminds me of the Houston Texans, because it's all about who you know and you can get for free.
True.
Because a lot of
who do you know?
Well, like at the time for the Houston Texans,
you did have lunch next to J.J. Watt and didn't know it at one point.
That's true. But I was seeing a girl who worked as like in the NFL, and I got free tickets, different tickets every game. And I don't really like football, but I always invite my buddies because they love football. But every game we go, we just get a magic ticket, and it wouldn't be the same ticket. We sat up top, we sat at 50-yard line.
But you were there.
Just random, right? And then one of my buddies is a pilot, and he can get anyone on board with him as long as it's somewhere like in the family world or well, because like I could say I'm his brother-in-law, and I could get on. we're not technically family.
I think you're finding loopholes now too,
But he's like, yeah, a lot of times,
Mr. Alexander.
Yeah, depending on the flight, he's like, yeah, we can get you on for free. If you're family, you can get on for free if there's room, and they have a special section for you and everything, like you're a stepchild or something like that. But
well, it says he's only been charged for 34 counts, but they allege he has taken over 100 flights. Who knows? No one can know.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I admire
do you think he set out to do this, or do you think he found accidentally the loophole or the advantage? He's like,
well,
I
think if you're going to go through that much trouble, you ain't.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is he a mastermind, or is it more of like, oh, I didn't follow the instructions and I went through the pilot section and they just let me in?
Well, maybe he likes the rush. He thought, I'll just do this once because I really got to get to Puerto Vallarta this weekend. It happened. He loved the juice, and then he couldn't get enough of it. Juice. Yeah, but the problem is he's now facing up to 20 years, man.
El Salvador prison, send him.
Seems a bit excessive. I'm telling you, this guy needs to be commended.
That's really
He found
funny.
the loophole.
That's really
yeah.
Funny.
He just liked flying.
Well, it reminds me of that guy who lived in that hotel. Remember that?
Yeah, but that guy, completely different story.
Yeah,
man.
true.
That guy,
he wasn't illegally doing it. He found a loophole.
He did find a loophole and then tried to claim that he owned the entire building after 5 years of staying in a high-end New York hotel for free.
For like 10 years, right?
5 years.
5 years, yeah.
And then after 5, he's like, you know what? Let's ramp this up. One room is not enough. I need the whole building. And that's when they said, enough is enough.
God, that'd be such a lifestyle.
Yeah, it was like through the New York squatting rules. No, it was if you technically spent one night in a hotel, they technically, by some old law in the books, had to offer you a lease. And of course, the law has now since been changed. And he was like, well, I wasn't offered a lease, and I stayed overnight in this building. I'm going to stay here. I now own this place.
I thought it was like you had to be there for like 29 days, and like on the 30th day, that's when it counts as...
You could be right, too.
Something like that. It was bizarre.
It was bizarre. A Texas judge scolded a man for wearing an inappropriate shirt in court this week. The man appeared before the judge wearing a shirt that said, "World's Best Farter." I mean father. Judge Raquel West told the man that the shirt was inappropriate for the felony court. And there is a picture. I want you to show the onesies. Yeah. He shows up to court wearing a shirt that says "World's Best Farter." Now, maybe
I wish I could get bigger.
It was his only clean shirt. You know, I'd rather him show up in a clean "World's Best Farter" shirt than something that was dirty, smelling like your dog Freddie. This is fine. The man tells West it was, quote, the only shirt he could find. That's all you could find? That's the only shirt you had in your closet? World's Best Farter, West said. That's great. Morris then tries to argue that it says father. Well, it does, but not before it says farter. I love it, man. And this was actually right here in Texas, I believe. Yeah, Beaumont. Like it says Beaumont.
Typical.
I don't know, but I bet when he put that shirt on in the morning, he did not know that he was about to go viral.
Do you think, I mean, people have shirts like that, and they always buy them because of that, right? And
it would be ironic if it, like, his kid gave it to him, because it does say father, I mean father, as a joke, and then his son's the one that ended up inadvertently having him go viral for it.
Do you have any shirts like that?
No, man. I don't. I find those a little tacky, to be honest with you. There are, I do see some shirts sometimes that are just extremely vulgar. And I stepped into, what is like the Hot Topic store in the mall, if those are still around, or the version of that. And about half those shirts, I would not be caught dead in, man. They're just vulgar as all get out.
I remember being on the Strand in Galveston, and they had like a T-shirt shop. And this is around the time when Donald Trump was running for president. And they had those ridiculous eagle shirts, you know, just like him riding a tank, and then like eagles are dropping bombs behind him and stuff. And I was like, man, if those are like $5, I'd buy like 30 of those. And then for birthday gifts, that's what that would be a good.
You got to record the reaction though.
Yeah,
and you might want to give it to someone who may not necessarily be on the same side.
Oh no, I love it.
That's beautiful, man. Patriotism. Look at the eagles in the background. Dropping bombs.
See, the way I would do it is I'd buy 30 of them, and no matter what birthday party I get invited to, I'm be that guy who always has a gift, even if it's like, mom, hey, you want to come over? My mom's having her birthday. I'm like, yeah, I'll get her. I got a gift.
You, as the guy who is now known as not gift guy, suddenly showing up with a gift, I would know something is wrong.
100%.
Why does Dick have a gift there?
So
it's not better not be his D in a box.
yeah, no, it's you mean my DNA?
What?
I know it's.
No, that would be kind of funny though, man.
I think that'd be great.
You and your gag gifts. I love it. A group of tourists were sitting at an outdoor table in the Spanish city of Barcelona, trying to enjoy their drinks when a woman raised a cheap plastic water gun and shot an arc of water at them. Her water of choice, the cheap squirty squirt variety, is an increasingly common fixture in anti-tourism protests in the southern European country, where many locals fear that an overload of visitors is driving them from their cherished neighborhoods. So get this, man. If as a tourist traveling to Barcelona, there's a pretty good chance that anti-tourist protesters are going to shoot you with water guns.
I saw that, and I didn't think it was real.
No, I mean this is on ABC News.
Well, I meant more of like an organized thing. I can see it happening at one spot because they got so tired of the tourists ruining that one spot.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of become a larger symbol
but
of.
Now it's like, yeah,
they squirt. I guess if you've got your Trump shirt on, you're speaking English. Is a pretty good sign you're not from around here. But I do like this idea of using a water gun for protesting or something you don't like. I'd love to see this extend to. I don't know, like presidential debates or something there. And like 2028, you see AOC and she's rattling on about some inequality and you just all of a sudden gets a line across.
No, actually, I like the idea that I'm going to go to Barcelona.
Out comes the super soaker.
I'll go to Barcelona and I'll get the camera squirter. Have you ever seen that gag gift where it looks like a camera? And
yeah.
And it shoots.
Yeah, you got to amp it up a little bit.
You get that. And then you're like, oh, you're squirting me? I'm like,
but Barcelona's pretty warm in the summertime, right?
So, yeah, maybe you have a little water gun fight.
Just cooling you off, bruh. No, but I think what makes it even funnier. It is like the little kid like party ones, that runs out after like 4 squirts.
You got to buy your own when you get there. I would immediately start selling them in the airport and be like, "Here's I guess you can't really sell guns at the airport. That's probably not a smart idea."
It says it originally did start off as a joke, but it went viral because the group brought the water guns because it was quote hot. But somebody then took it to the next level. I like it, man. I like this. Just water guns.
Yeah, go for it, dog.
This next story is truly an audience of one story, Dick. I think you're going to love it. A Kentucky man known by locals as Cowboy Cody.
I actually read this story.
Was taken into custody as he allegedly released a raccoon into a crowded bar on Friday.
Well, see, when I was reading it, because he was upset with this, he got kicked out, I think it was.
Yeah.
He got kicked out, and so his retaliation was, let me go find a raccoon, and I'm going to show...
We're going to have this guy on the show, man.
I mean, this
is great. Yeah, he's a 40 years old Jonathan Mason of Murray, Kentucky, was arrested after police say he released the raccoon in a bar, which resulted in one person being bitten. I was assuming this was like a pet raccoon, and he was like, I'm going to go home and get Ricky, bring him back. He's going to unleash hell on all you guys. But it sounds like you went out and actually captured one, which makes it even better.
Yeah.
Which, hey, if your name is Cowboy Cody, it probably does seem like something you could do. Dick, let me ask you, do you think you could go out right now and catch a raccoon? With your bare hands?
Bare hands? Probably not.
Yeah, I bet Cody did it with bare hands. And a water gun.
I bet he had a bunch of traps at his house. And he's like...
Oh, yeah. Well, I was going to eat this one, but...
Or he might be that guy that always has, like, he brings a raccoon to the party. I can't believe you get in trouble for that.
Well, yeah, I don't know what the charge is. It says a disturbance, but what was he charged with? Because
that would be hilarious.
Yeah, assault by raccoon? I don't know.
Like, I remember being at a bar over northeast of here, and it was called Salty's. I got his charges when you're ready. Well, these people would come in and promote their fundraisers, and it's an old school bar, dude. And when I got there, I'd never been there. I finally wanted to go there. I was like, all right, I'm going to go check this place out.
Mm-hmm.
And I get there. It's one of those places that has no windows. It's all
your kind of place.
Cinder blocks.
Your kind of place.
And I think I told you this about the bathroom. The toilet was raised because I guess they had to fix the plumbing. So if you sit on the toilet, your feet aren't touching the ground. It's that raised up. It had John Wayne pictures everywhere. Well, anyway,
I take it you needed to sit?
No.
Or you're just guessing that had you needed to sit, your feet would have dangled. Because
it's really weird. You're at the urinal, and to your left, you see a toilet almost waist high.
Yeah, it is weird.
And you're like, that's weird. But anyway, there was a patron there. He was upset about something, so he backs in his motorcycle into the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was this guy. Like you're sitting there and you're like, what the hell?
That guy's got to be a regular.
And he
ain't no way that they're gonna let some rando do that.
And he just blares it.
Oh, he starts the motorcycle up,
Yes.
or it was still running when he backed in.
He went outside.
So
he was upset. He was upset. Goes outside.
Oh,
gets on his motorcycle. Backs.
This was an act of defiance.
Yes, and he pulled back. Like you can see the back of the motorcycle in the bar, and just starts revving it.
Oh, those are loud.
And it was really loud.
Yeah,
because it was a cinder block.
Were you
no
so
windows.
scared you needed to sit on that potty?
No, I realized I don't really like that place, but the people are really sweet. And
just one window, just one.
Yeah, well, it's really. I asked him. I was like, "What's the deal with all no windows?" They're like, "Oh, well,
don't need them."
This wasn't originally a bar. It was something. It was
hostel. Mm-hmm.
I think it was some type of plant that the people worked at, and this was like a storage room or something.
Okay.
But it was weird. It was awesome at the same time, but yeah, it was really loud.
Well, his charges were not quote, but the following: assault, criminal trespassing, resisting arrest, and this last one. Kind of odd. Failure of owner to maintain required insurance. I guess they just done tacked that one on at the end. It doesn't say what kind of insurance. It just says, I guess maybe they went out to his car. He didn't have insurance. I mean, I don't know. Love it.
See, that's something I would do. I put a ski mask on. And I'm like,
that somehow would make it worse, I think.
Here's a raccoon. That's awesome.
I'm a bartender, the lady says, so you know I've seen some crazy stuff in my time, but nothing like this. The bartender told the publication. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Got two quick stories here before the break I wanted to cover really quickly. Last few weeks we talked about lightning strikes and how the fact that deaths by lightning have gone down. Well, I've got two quick lightning stories here, but a lightning strike at the Bridges Golf Club in Gunther, Texas. Not sure where Gunter is. I think it's North Texas. Sunday killed one man and critically injured his father. Now, this is sad, but the only... Southwest?
Southwestern.
Okay. Now, this is kind of sad, but the only reason I'm doing this is because eyewitnesses of the lightning strike sent News 12 a picture of what they called, quote, the perfect weather conditions. Where did it go?
I was wrong.
Oh,
north of Dallas.
North. Okay, so I was right. But how did it all happen? It all comes down to what science is calling a bolt from the blue. All right. Could we not come up with another name than bolt from the blue? I do think that meteorologists over the last few years have really taken it upon themselves to come up with some new names for ordinary weather things like there's like bomb cyclone, polar vortex, or derecho winds, but bolt from the blue, I don't know, man. Are scientists really saying this? I don't know about that, but it's pretty sad, man.
There's a movie called Bolt from the Blue. It looks really good.
But apparently this is like when lightning comes out basically 20 to 30 miles away from the parent storm. So you're not necessarily expecting it, and it comes out of the blue and nabs you up, taking your life. Sad, man. Father and son just out there trying to shoot a 45 and 47 on the back nine, and down he goes.
Yeah, I wonder what they did wrong in life.
That's a good question.
Fate is definitely out for, or death was like, hey, that's a final destination kind of thing. Escape death.
It kind of is,
we
actually.
We gotta get him.
It kind of is. And the last lightning-related story, rescuers fetched two men struck by lightning from a Colorado peak in what they believe was the highest helicopter rescue on record in the mountainous states.
That's cool.
Isn't that cool? They were up at 14,300 feet, struck by lightning, and had to be rescued by a helicopter. But in this case, I believe they both live. Their identities have not been released.
That's one of those things that you bring up in a conversation. You know,
what'd you do this weekend?
No, it's like I've survived a lightning strike.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, one guy did. The other one tragically perished.
Well, yeah, that's why people would think like that'd be cool because you actually lived. Because a lot of people who say, "Hey, I got struck by lightning," you'd be like, "Oh, did you die and then come back?" Or
you can make up anything at that point.
Yeah. Probably that one guy probably wasn't going to say anything because his dad died or whatever. I don't want to talk about that.
All right, man, it's a good time to take a break. When we come back, we are going to discuss being tricked into moving. Stick around.
Car enthusiasts of Conroe, FM 104.5 and 106.1 Lone Star Community Radio invites you to shift into gear every Monday from 1 to 2 with Cruising Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy for news on all things automotive in the greater Houston-Conroe area. Can't make a live show? We've got you covered. You can find all of our uncut content, including full episodes on Spotify, iTunes, Play Store, YouTube, Facebook, and irlonestar.com. Again, that's Mondays 1 to 2, Cruising Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy. See you there.
Ayo, Audience of One, we are back here every Friday morning at 10 a.m., part of the morning show on Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station. This is part 2. Yeah, if you ever want to send us funny articles, I love articles about, gags or people getting hammered drunk on airplanes. Like gags, like good gags. Like
Oh,
jokes.
gotcha, jokes. Careful, man.
And also, I like people who try to get away with stuff, like that flight attendant story. That's great. That's a great story.
He would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids.
Yes. And then, but yeah, send it to audienceoneshow@gmail.com, or we have Facebook. You send us a message. Andrew can get with you, and we love getting user or onesie articles.
And if you're listening on YouTube, just hit the like button over there. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, give us a follow if you aren't already. Like it, give a review. All of those little things add up, people. Share the show on Facebook. We would really greatly appreciate it. And any other social platform for that matter. Okay. It helps us out.
And we're back.
We're trying to make a living here, man. Kinda. Dick, how much time has to pass before you can have a themed party? Because I know in the late 90s when I was in college, in the late 90s, there would be 70s themed parties, right? So that's like basically 20 years. There might even have been 60s themed parties, even in the early 2000s.
You know what I'm curious is, like, that's a great question, because I would say from the 2000s to now, we're 2 decades in, and there's not really anything that's definitive of what those decades are. But like now I'm seeing 90s parties, and we can kind of define what the 90s are now because we're already 30 years past that.
Right. I think I am seeing some 90s type parties.
Yes.
So I think maybe we've finally gotten there.
So,
because if you could just go 20 years,
I would say
that's the
30
early
years.
2000s.
I would say 30 years. Because like if I think of 2000, what do I think of?
9/11. You think you could ever have like a 9/11 themed party?
No, but I mean...
Well, what would that be like? Everybody wearing like Fire Department of New York shirts?
No, I think it's one of those things where...
A lot of Bin Laden talk?
Yeah, it needs to be 30 years past. That way, because people can culturally remember specifics.
Do you think there'll ever be COVID parties? COVID-themed parties? 30 years from now? People wearing masks?
I can see it, I guess. I don't really know.
That'd be great. I don't know. Yeah, I just thought about it because if you go back 20 years, you're in the early aughts, 2000. Well, you go 20 years from now, 2005. Yeah, you're right. There's nothing really defining. It seems very similar to what it is now outside of... Yeah. Maybe you just couldn't have your cell phone. I don't know.
I don't really remember anything that's really... Like, when you said 9/11, I was like, when was that, 2002 or 2007?
2001, yeah.
I don't remember.
Hey, never forget, dog. Never forget.
Well, I didn't forget it.
That's why they put those signs up there, never forget. And look, you've forgotten. This is why they do it.
It's not like I didn't forget it happened. I just don't I can't place that whole thing in the 90s. I remember the 90s pretty good.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah.
But that was like my adolescent years. I guess 2000 was my high school.
Prior to the drug use, correct, yeah.
Yeah, that's when I got introduced to alcohol. And now
there's a period in there where I just don't quite remember. No. It's my own personal 9/11.
I think I was in 9th grade when that happened, so what was I even doing?
Meth.
No.
You were doing math homework. Yeah, I was in college. Yeah, man. I was a senior.
Well,
in
to answer your question, I would say 30 years.
Okay, I believe so. I think you're probably right, especially now if you're seeing 90s theme. And I don't know that I'm seeing a lot of it, but I know it's out there. At least when you're walking in the mall, you see kids that are dressing in what I would say was popular when I was in high school in the 90s. So yeah. It only makes sense now that there's going to be parties to accompany that.
And I probably wouldn't dress up theme-wise anyways.
No? You don't do that kind of stuff. Okay.
No.
Dick, I feel like I might be falling for some AI fakes. You know, we talk about this quite often, and I feel like I am pretty good at spotting this. But all of a sudden, I'm starting to see these really, really high resolution photos from behind the scenes of 80s and 90s movies. And I saw it several months ago from Back to the Future, like 2 or 3, and I was bought in. It's like, wow, look at all of these pictures from behind the scenes, and it just looks so great. Then I see another one from another movie in the 90s, and then I see something from like the Nirvana Nevermind album cover shoot, and there's pictures of them underwater with the baby, and I'm going, wait a minute. And they're all super high res. And I thought, oh no, I think this is all AI crap. I don't think any of it's real, and I've been pretending and wanting in my mind to think this stuff was, but why all of a sudden would there be just this rash of behind-the-scenes photos that never been seen before is now on my phone?
Yeah, but I think that kind of stuff, it's a hit or miss. It could be true because
Just seems fishy to me.
People, especially back then, they had to develop the film, so they might have taken the pictures and they just kept the film. And that's happened all the time where they like estate sale happens. Oh, he has like 500 reels of film.
Yeah.
Haven't been developed. I wonder what's on it.
Well, you have a good point there. There's a lot of, let's say there are a lot of pictures from behind the scenes stuff. If you feed that into an AI, it can use that and then generate all kinds of new
the
stuff.
high res, it depends on who's doing the developing. Those photos are already high res.
Okay.
That's why movies that are filmed on film can be HD, because we just didn't have the right projectors to show the full image. But the way the film was developed, it's already HD quality. There just wasn't a projector that could show, like, reproduce it for everybody.
Man, you just blew my mind. You
You
mean
didn't
to
know
tell
that?
me that HD has been around since the dawn of time?
Well, it just depends on the
So
camera.
like Picasso, back when he was watching...
it depends on what kind of camera and film they used. That's why you see all these re-releases, because all they have to do is scan it at the highest resolution, because it's already there on the film.
Wow. So it wasn't the camera's fault, it was the dang projector.
Yeah.
So coming in is good, going out is bad.
Yeah, it's like the TV, because they couldn't, the TVs we had in our homes couldn't handle the whole full resolution of the film. So they had to downgrade it.
Do you think people back in the Stone Ages, do you think they saw an Ultra K, 4 def, ultra high def, 4K?
Well, I think they
Like
did.
their vision,
They did
like-
in Space Odyssey.
Or was it like black and white back then?
I don't know.
Like when they looked out the window of their hut, did they see things in HD like we do now?
I don't care. That's stupid.
No, that's really interesting. I did not know that about the film.
Yeah, photography. That's why the larger frame photographies, like Ansel Adams stuff, that's why it always looks so good, because he developed it at a high resolution and it was bigger. So that's why they were able to print like giant ones.
Really hate it when you know stuff I don't. Dang it.
Yeah, you've been around longer too.
I know. This is not good. I'm not trending in the right direction. Well, since this is part of Andrew's rants and observations, I do have a bit of an observation for you, and you're just going to roll your eyes and be like, good God. But Dick, the other day, I walked into the grocery store that I normally go to.
All right, what's that one called?
H-E-B. Perhaps you've heard of it.
Hib.
Now, this Hib, like most Hibs, have 2 doors. But this time I went was very busy, so I had to park on the other side of the parking lot, thus forcing me to enter into the door that I don't normally enter in.
Okay, so you're on the flower side?
I'm on I'm on like the pharmacy side
Okay.
in this particular one, where I normally enter in the produce side. And I said, F it, I'm just going to shop in reverse and try to do everything that I normally do, but in the opposite order. And I'm here to tell you, I couldn't do it. Like it was, even though everything's like in the same spot, it's on the wrong side of the aisle, like for me mentally. And I got about 3 aisles in and went, and I walked all the way to the other side of the store and then proceeded backwards, man. And I thought, am I the only one who's fallen victim to this? Or are there other people that are like, no, I can do it either way. I go both ways, dog.
I go both ways.
You go both ways. Interesting. I couldn't do it, especially if it's a store that I'm really, really used to.
You think it'd be the opposite of that? You think you'd be able to handle it?
Right. You would think so, but I'm like, the apple juice should be on my right shoulder, and it's on my left shoulder right now. And it's freaking me out, man.
God, you're so weird with that stuff.
I couldn't do it. So I quickly made a note of this. I'm like, I'm bringing this to air.
How do you survive out in public?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't know, man. I'm an odd guy. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, no crap. But yeah, I think. I mean,
I think it's people who are maybe a little OCD, such as myself, probably can't handle that type of change as well. When you're a guy that's a little more fast and loose like you, it probably doesn't bother you. But for me, man, Yeah, I struggled with it. Dick, I think you're going to like this story, but a woman went viral on TikTok after sharing her disastrously awkward run-in with an Etsy witch, which she hired to cast a love spell on her crush. That's right. A woman went out to Etsy, and if you're not familiar with Etsy, this is a website that allows people to sell their own homemade goods and services. Well, she found herself a good old Etsy witch who was selling love spells.
So what happened to her?
Well, it didn't quite go as planned, as she says. Apparently, the witch, I guess, charged her for the love potion, but then went and found her crush and outed her and said, hey, by the way, I'm a witch, and someone is asking me to put a love potion on you.
Yeah, but you always know in the movies in the witch world, that violates the laws of nature. You can't raise the dead, and you can't make someone fall in love with you. That's like the top two rules.
This is true.
Even with genies.
This is true. I don't know if a witch, but see, witches, they're slightly different.
Yeah.
It says instead of summoning romance, the witch summoned chaos by exposing her. Now, here's what I think is interesting about this.
Yes.
Because I think this witch has really uncovered a loophole. You go out, advertise said love potion,
and then
sell said love potion, then double your chances by going and finding the lover and saying, by the way, this person's trying to put a spell on you. The only way to get out of it is to purchase this anti-love potion right here for $39.99.
Yeah.
So I like how this witch is doing this, but apparently you can find witches on Etsy.
So that would probably be, I would be fascinated with this person.
It says Etsy witches can make a killing online. They have been a hot topic of online scrutiny for a while now, with some users flat out accusing them of being scammers. No way. Some of them call them predatory scammers who peddle magic spells, but some people really buy into it.
I just like the idea of getting a random DM.
Yeah, you do.
And it's like, hey, I'm a witch. I sold this love potion to your neighbor. She's in love with you. I'd be like, did you send the blood potion yet? Did you send it? Like, is it in her?
And it is smart when you're like, in order for the love potion to work, I'm going to need the last 4 digits of their social. I got to know where their address is. I need the name so I can specifically formulate it. And that's how you find out your next customer.
But I'm talking about if I was the victim, and I would definitely play a trick. That opportunity is too rare to come across not to take advantage of that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd be like,
this is ripe for scamming, man.
Well, no. I'm talking about...
We got to find a grift. I think we just found it.
No, if I'm the guy she has the crush on, and I get a DM from the witch like, hey, this girl loves you. I sold her a love potion. I'm like, all right, has she used it yet? Like, tell me when she uses it.
Okay.
And then when she uses it, I go next door. I'd be like, I knock on the door. I'd be like, I can't explain it, but I'm like drawn here.
Next door.
Yeah, well, you find out the crush probably knows who this woman is.
Okay. So you're saying go to her house.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you got to double down on the creepiness. It's like, you're the one getting a love potion, lady. But it's like, then that would be so much fun. Like, I just feel drawn to this place where you are. And then what I would do is I would show up everywhere she was. You know,
suddenly back where it's like, okay, enough.
Yeah, it's like, can I watch you sleep?
And then that's when you tell the witch, all right, look, we're going to make some real money here. I'm not going to let this woman go away. You're going to have to sell her an anti-love potion for the $1,000, but I want half of that. Half. Nah. And you make a quick $500 off the side. It says that these witches are charging anywhere from $39.95 to $400 for their, quote, services.
That's nice that she has a crush on somebody. That's nice.
But because it's profitable doesn't always mean that it's allowed or ethical, and some sites are trying to prevent such activities from occurring on their sites, but not Etsy. Etsy says, bring it on!
But you can reword it, though, if they make a rule on it.
How else would you word love potion?
You would just say, like, this enhances...
romantic lotion?
Yeah, this enhances your aura to attract someone who you like.
Spanish fly.
Something like that. And there you go.
Well, speaking of tricking people, a teenager who was tricked into going to a boarding school in Africa has won a significant legal victory against his own parents. Get this, a 14-year-old boy who cannot be identified, just no possible way to know who he is, was taken from London to Ghana in March of 2024 after being told that a relative was ill. But in fact, his parents wanted to get him out of London as they feared he was being drawn into criminal activity.
All right.
I think I've seen this before, and it's called The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, Fresh Prince of Ghana.
Fresh Prince of Ghana, man. Wasn't old Will Smith getting in trouble at school, and so his life was about to get turned upside down, and his mom sent him to go see Uncle Phil, right? Kind of the same story here. While unhappy and homesick in Ghana, the boy found lawyers and brought a case against his parents to the High Court in London. However, they ruled against him in February. He said, nah, not enough case. Not enough case. But on Thursday, he won a Court of Appeal bid. So the case is going to be heard. Now, at this time, we don't know the outcome of said trial. But since, Dick, you have quite an ear to the ground, as we heard last week, I'm sure you're going to keep up with this case and let us know the outcome.
My favorite quote of this article, he was saying he was told the court that he was living in hell. He said he was mocked at the school and could barely understand what was going on.
A little bit of cultural shock there, I guess, from UK to Ghana.
That is so funny, dude. Like, can you imagine being at the school and you're like, why did my parents send me there? Because 14, you have like a grasp on reality, but you don't have a good grasp.
Yeah,
you're
and you're still trusting your parents are doing the right thing for you.
Hilarious.
I'm interested to know that a lawyer over in the UK is called a barrister.
Yeah.
The boy's barrister said he was desperate to return. He is culturally displaced and alienated. Well, I hope that he gets to return home, but that's going to be awkward at Christmas time.
How did this start?
Well, I think
not with the parents. I'm talking about like you're in Ghana and he's like, hey, I hate it here. Mom, Dad, can I come home? No, you can't. You can't come home. Like, no, really, I really want to come home.
Well, I'm wondering if there was even a sick relative at all. If
No,
they just
there
said, yeah, they send him over there, and once he's looking around going, hey, grandma isn't here, and no one's sick. What? I need to come back home. I think that's when the gig was up.
What would you do? If you're 14 years old, do you call like...
Partay. 14 in Ghana sounds like a dream come true, bro.
But no, I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, did he call... Like, he's from the UK. Did he call the UK people and be like, hey, my parents sent me here. I'm stuck here. I need to get home.
Yeah, it says that he reached out to lawyers somehow. It doesn't say how.
This makes no sense to me.
What do you mean?
Because your parents
I think you can reach out to a social worker, especially if you're 14. You can probably find where that is.
Your parents can't keep you there. They're in London. Like, he could easily go,
yeah, the state just... I think laws would maybe be different
like,
there.
you go to GoFundMe and be like, hey, I'm stuck in Ghana.
Yeah, Kickstarter. Get me back to the UK.
Yeah, and like, you'll figure it out. They would literally make a Disney movie about this kid's adventure going from Ghana to the UK, trying to get home to his hateful parents.
Yeah, it says he considers himself abandoned by his family, but he remains in Ghana and has been attending a day school there.
Yeah, there's more to the story.
Oh, I think there's a lot more. And again, we're going to keep up with this. We are going to keep up with this. Dick, are you familiar with what CarPlay Ultra is?
No.
This is pretty cool. I want you to open this article and show the onesie, but it is the most advanced in-car software experience to date. First unveiled in May of this year, this next-generation platform pushes far beyond traditional CarPlay interface, turning your iPhone into the brain of the entire dashboard. This is pretty cool, man, but I think Apple is testing this out with Alfa Romeo, I believe, right? Is that or Maserati? It's supposed to be only in high-end cars at this point. But CarPlay Ultra is Apple's next generation of CarPlay, and you're familiar with CarPlay, right?
Yeah, I use it.
You use it? Yeah. Are you a fan of said
Sure.
CarPlay? I mean, you can just read your text right there, man. It's pretty nice. And it has the interface of I don't do it, but I've seen it. And the benefit is it makes your phone or your dash of your car look like your phone, right? Essentially.
Yeah, it's interesting because on my particular vehicle, I have to plug in my phone
Okay.
for it to work. But there's certain other cars that have an updated one.
Oh, yes. I know what you're talking about.
And
Bluetooth CarPlay is the newest one.
Yeah, and it's fine. I like it because I can be in my room, and if I'm going on a trip, I can look up Google Maps and everything, and then right when I plug it in, it's already loaded everything I got preloaded.
Hey Siri, find nearest brothel. Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then a Waffle House.
Well, did you show the picture? It looks pretty cool. It says that it's not just the infotainment system like it is now in regular CarPlay.
No, it's the whole everything.
It displays real-time driving data like speedometer, tachometer, battery levels, tire pressures, driving mode status, all this stuff through your effing phone, man. Just when we thought we could
That's
live
all
without
right.
the phones.
I don't really like that stuff.
Yeah, I'm not in. Like I said, I don't even have. I mean, I guess I technically do have the capability of doing it. I just don't even do it in my truck.
What I like about my truck is the in car software is so bad looking.
In new cars?
Well, in my car, like it's just bad looking. It's just
What? I thought you loved your car.
No, I'm talking about the software for my entertainment system.
Mhm.
So, but when you plug in the phone, it switches over.
Oh, it looks better
Yeah.
than what it. Yeah, because they figure, hey, why would we spend all this R&D when we can just let Apple do it for us? We'll just make the connection in between, and let them handle
and
it.
then your car doesn't work
Yeah, right.
because you didn't update
Can't start it. Yeah, I can't start
Where's
my
the
car.
self-deport button?
Well, this says it will allow users to control the core vehicle functions as well, including climate control, seat settings, and audio settings directly through touch input or Siri voice commands.
Yeah, I like it. Whatever.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
I still like the idea of self-driving cars. That's what I would like.
Well, and a lot of times now with the self-driving cars and electric cars, they've been sort of one with the iPhone for a while.
Yeah.
And you can open the app and have summon your car to you, which is kind of baller, which is what I was trying to do to my dog earlier when it gave me the evil eye. Now the car reminds me better of my dog.
Yeah, just get your assault gun and shoot the dog. Love me.
Love me. We talked about this, Dick, a few weeks ago, and I meant to bring it to Aaron. Neglected to do so when we were on the golf course. But a Texas woman died from a rare and deadly brain infection after using unboiled tap water from an RV's water system for nasal irrigation while staying at a campground. That's right, the old neti pot.
I think this is like the 10th time I've heard something.
Yes, and it's crazy because this was at a RV campsite, so it just makes it even worse.
Yeah.
It's not like just going in your nice,
Wasn't gray water.
fancy. Yeah, well, maybe it was. But you know what I think is interesting is you only hear about the brain-eating amoeba. It seems like it's getting all the press. What if you're just a regular old amoeba out there minding your business? These brain-eating ones are getting all the attention. The 71-year-old woman who was healthy before the infection used a nasal irrigation device with tap water, blah, blah, blah. She started noticing symptoms such as fever, headache, and altered mental status. Dick, this is a Saturday Night with You. And the CDC says these are symptoms to look for 8 days later, seizure symptoms started, and she died.
Yeah.
She done died. But
That's
yeah,
quick.
I
That's
can't
quick,
imagine.
too.
I can't. Yeah, it is 8 days. I can't imagine that the water from an RV is the cleanest. I mean,
Well,
I think from the
have
tap,
you ever
you're probably
used an neti
you're
pot?
probably chancing it, but with an RV, it seems like your odds are a lot higher.
You
Man.
ever used a neti pot?
No, I've heard they're wonderful though. You're always supposed to use
Boiled water.
boiled or distilled, which has been boiled water.
Yeah.
I've heard that the after effects are quite phenomenal. Have you used said
Oh, yeah,
neti
I
pot?
love it.
You just like watching all the snot come out,
dude,
don't you?
It is.
You're like, that was in me. That's cool, man.
Oh, man. Like, one of them was as big as like a silver dollar. And I was just like, Jesus. And it was awesome. And but it's funny. The reason I ask you if you ever used it, it says it all over the thing, like boil the water or just like use distilled water, use boiled or distilled water.
Yeah, I'm surprised that.
But don't use boiled water hot. Like you're not supposed to.
Right. Well, it's boiling. That seems like it would be instant death.
Yeah. No, I only use it when I get the colds, you know, and you're just trying to get everything out after the cold.
And you're bored and you want to see some bugs.
Yeah, dude, it's so cool. It's so satisfying. And yeah, I remember my ex was like, "You're really weird for liking that stuff." I'm like, I just want to get sick again so I can see all the boogers coming.
You are a weird person, man.
Oh, when that $50 silver dollar came out, I was like, I can't believe that was in my sinuses.
That's so funny. Dick, how are we doing on time?
We got to do the quick
sure?
hit.
You
Quick
sure?
hit.
It's
Yeah,
time for quick hit?
time for the quick
'Cause
hit.
I got one quickie I can do before the quick hit if you like.
Go for it.
Dick, are you
Totally
familiar
ignore
with the
what I was
term
saying.
dead to rights is?
Oh, yeah.
You familiar? What do you think dead to rights means? I heard someone say this the other day, and I
thought it was like, it meant like that you got them in the absolute 100%.
you were pretty much spot on.
Like, it's not necessarily they're dead. It's just more of like you got caught 100%. Or you can't escape this time.
That is pretty much spot on. It says there is still much debate about the true roots of this idiom, but here's some information about where it came from. The to rights part is of a phrase that has been used in the English language since the 1300s to mean in a proper manner. Meanwhile, the dead part has been used since the 1500s to mean both unequivocally and completely. So when you put them together, the phrase dead to right means someone has been found beyond any reasonable doubt to be in error or at fault for wrongdoing. Or in other words, caught red-handed. I heard someone use that term, and I thought, man, that is a pretty cool term. Don't know where it came from, and I'm not 100% sure I know what it means. But you, sir, being the linguist, the cunning linguist that you are, knew that. What a cunning linguist you are.
Yeah, I listen. I'm also dyslexic, so I have to read everything like 7 times to like comprehend anything.
Was that word in the Bible? It's probably why you read it.
Yeah.
All right, quick hit here.
And it's also a game that came out when the Xbox first came out.
Dead to Rights? Oh, that helps.
And I played that.
Everything
and I was
learned.
I wonder what that is.
Everything I learned in life was from Xbox.
Well, a lot of my curiosity comes from video games. It's true.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. All right, quick hit here at the end of the show. Dick, do you know who Tim Berners-Lee is?
Tim Berners-Lee.
Sounds like you're really contemplating it here. Well, he just turned 70, and he is alive.
Yeah.
So much
I've
like
heard the name before.
Much like our quick hits here at the end, this guy's actually still living.
Yeah, I've heard the name before.
I think there's probably a reason for it. He's also known as Tim BL.
Yeah, that is not. I don't even want to go.
I'm just saying.
I don't want to go wherever you're going with
He is an English computer scientist, best known as the inventor of the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, HTTP.
HTTP markup language and the URL system in HTTP. Yes, man. That is pretty cool. This guy invented the web browser and the World Wide Web, not Al Gore, as much people think he is the inventor.
What was the real reason Al Gore said that?
I don't remember.
Everyone takes everything out of context all the time.
I honestly don't remember. He did, I think, say it, but I don't remember the context of it, though.
Like, did he say it?
No one can ever know.
Did he say it dead to rights?
Dead to rights. He said it, bruh. Yeah.
No, I meant more of like he was saying he really did, or was he making a sarcastic like, yeah, we helped pay for it?
I don't know. Maybe we should look it up.
Because that's like 90% of what Donald Trump says. I'm like, no one's telling me the truth here. It's because my favorite recent Donald Trump. If you don't know, the Club World Cup's going down right now.
I'm not
in the United States. It's a soccer thing. And Juventus is Italy. It's probably why I had a dream about Italy. Juventus is a team that visited the White House, and he straight up goes, "Hey, do you guys allow women to play on your team?" And this is like a professional team that has a couple of Americans on it. Like, he's joking around, but when
they don't like jokes around.
When you read the headline, it's like, why would he why would he ask this question?
Take a joke, man.
But when you listen to it, I'm like, that sounded like a joke.
I did have a story about 2 guys staying overnight in a bathroom for 27 hours to sneak into a soccer match right now that's going on in Madrid. But there wasn't much else to it, and so I didn't bring it to air. But I guess I just technically did.
Bathrooms
of course,
are
they
fun.
streamed it and stayed in there the entire time until they started hearing noise outside and thought it was safe to come out. On Snopes, did Al Gore claim that he invented the internet as false?
Yes, yeah.
Despite the multidigious diversity, oh my God, this is a word I don't even know. References to the supposed Al Gore quote. Okay, I'm done. I can't even talk. It just says he didn't say it, guys.
Oh.
Whatever. All right, until next week.
Did we really even land on the moon? Like, what is real life?
The word was multitudinous, and I couldn't read
Multitudinous.
it. Look, I went on Cindy's show. I've done this show. It's now been 2 hours of broadcasting. I'm done. I couldn't read multitudinous. I'm sorry, onesies. Just know that Al Gore apparently didn't claim that he invented the internet, but it's much more fun to claim that he did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I doubted it right when I heard that again.
Seems like I've been saying this a lot lately. Thank you, though, for listening. Share the show, like the show. But I don't know for real if we're getting in a show next week because I am out all next week. So
he's getting an enlargement, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, onesies.
A radio personality enlargement.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll be coming in town back on Thursday, so we'll see.
We'll see.
It may be late in the evening. Bye, guys.